I want to share with you some controversial news. Days Debtors is dead. What is Days Debtors? Days Debtors is the calculation which is looking at how long statistically it takes your average customer to pay you. The date from when you raise an invoice to when they pay the invoice. That will often be correlated to the terms that your business has. If you've got an average trading terms of 7 days before you get paid or 45 days end of month, you're going to have two very different days debtors calculations for those two businesses. The first one's going to generally have a very short days debtors, and the second one's going to have a very long days debtors. Now, the person working in the debtor management for each of those businesses, is one better than the other? If you give me 7 days terms to work with in the debtor management of that business, there's a high probability I'm going to have a better number than the business that has 45 days end of month terms. And 45 days end of month being, if you invoice somebody in today's month, and then they've got to pay until 45 days after the end of the month you're currently in, that's quite a long period of time between that date of the invoice and the due date for that invoice. On this basis, this is why I think the days debtors calculation for debtor management is a dead number. That first business is always going to have the lower number, the second business is always going to have the higher number. But the people working in those businesses, the first business might have a very lazy person working in there, and the second business might have an exceptionally hardworking and efficient, diligent person working in that role. So, I'm going to share with you a KPI that can put both of them on equal footing. And that is, what is the percentage of my debtor value that is overdue? It no longer correlates to how many days debtors I have. It is simply how overdue is my total value of debtors. And I'm going to measure and benchmark my team on that value. If I have $1 million worth of debtors today and $200,000 worth of that is overdue, then I've got a 20% ratio overdue debtors. That doesn't matter if it's 7-day terms or 45-day end of month terms or anything in between. But for debtor management in your business, you should be asking the people who are running the department, what is the percentage of my debtors that are overdue? And that is going to give you your best benchmark. If you compare on a days debtors basis, that's going to be unfair on the people who have got longer terms to deal with. That doesn't mean you shouldn't follow the statistic as a way of understanding your working capital cycle, but for performance managing the people who work within your debtor process, look at percentage of debtors overdue relative to your total debtor value.